of last time where we screwed up, but whatever. That was last time. Hello, everyone, and welcome to We Are Xbox Podcast Episode 4. I'm your host, Perry.
I'm Frank.
And Noof.
Yay! Boom, boom, kaboom!
And we have Larry join. No, I'm kidding. We have Timdog joining us.
Oh, guys.
Okay, I'm driving to GameStop because I brought a bunch of controllers to trade in just to get some stuff out of the house. And dude, I look at my phone when I'm at a light and it looks like a complete bloodbath is going on with Microsoft. And I'm like, what is going on now? I'm driving. I can't even sit and do anything. And then Tim's space starts and then I play it and then he turns off the space. And I'm like, what's going on? I go to another red light. The space comes back on. Tim's talking. But then the other guy, you can't hear the other guy. And I don't know what the hell happened. We're in the parking lot at GameStop listening with the volume cranked up. Then Tim starts screaming, fuck this guy, fuck that guy. Everyone's looking at us in the parking lot at GameStop.
Well, you rolled up, and I was like, that sounds like Tim. Is he on the phone with Tim? Like, it's Tim yelling and screaming at him, and it was the space that he was listening to. I could hear his car when he pulled up. I was like, oh my God.
And then everything started fading in and out, and I don't know. And we're here right now. So I don't know. Everyone's saying this is the end of Xbox. But Tim is also saying it's the beginning of Xbox. So what's going on here?
Damn, Frank, I thought you picked up all the rakes already. Damn you.
No, they're all still there.
It's a rake field. Now, I think, honestly, I think this is, through this, if you read through the silver lining, it just shows you how bad, what she was left with. And I really think, even though it's a sad thing and it sucks that people are losing their jobs, it really is. It's a real reset, and it's a moment where accountability and setting everything straight is happening in a very harsh way, but it's something that they if there's a lot of negativity about this, and rightfully so, but there is a positive, is that they're not doing this just to shutter the brand down, sunset the brand down, give up. They're doing this so they can put her in a position to be aggressive, competitive, Xbox that we all want. An Xbox where, they have big games, exclusives, or exclusive content, the time, whatever. They're gonna go about this in a real, as harsh as this is, that's as harsh as they're gonna go against the competition. So that's all you need to know is that she's real deal. She's real business, and she's real, going for a type of energy. Like, so this, as harsh as it is and how much of it's coming, this is going to come for its competition once she gets the field level. She was left something that was impossible to fix. Even I said, you can't do it. I don't understand how you do it. And there's a real light at the end of this tunnel. Like, she's getting to the point where we don't have to have this conversation ever. Is Xbox going out of business? Are they going to shutter things down? The conversation in the next 6 months is Crash going to be exclusive? Don't give this to Sony. Fuck Sony over this way. Excuse my language, but to be aggressive. They're going to go for it. I'm telling you, this is them, putting on their battle gear, getting everything set up so she can be real competitive, real aggressive. But she doesn't want small games. She doesn't want games, I believe, that are passion projects. She doesn't want games that are geared to demographics that don't buy games. She wants big games. She wants exclusives, and she also wants games, in my opinion, that are they're just about the core demographic, which is men
Yeah.
18 to 50, and have edgy content. I think that's what they see.
You don't mind me stepping in.
No, go ahead.
Sure.
Okay, so this is look, I'm no expert, okay? I don't pretend to know everything about what goes on at these studios. But if there's one perception, this is me as an Expos fan and as a, just someone that watches podcasts and listens to you guys and pays attention to the industry. This is how I see it. I see it as under the previous leadership, there was a lot of positive talk. There was a lot of great ideas. But I think the problem is a lot of the studios they hired suddenly got very comfortable with the open checkbook kind of mandate that they had. Again, kind of like, oh, we're going to allow our studios to cook and build the stuff that they want to make. But that's a risky proposition when you're running $1 billion company where budgets often skyrocket past $150 million. And you're also banking on a lot of success on Game Pass. And you already saw during the showcase, Gears of War E-Day is not going to have trouble bringing people to Game Pass. Okay, games like this sell themselves. But other games, like, come on, like Killing, that ain't moving the needle. A game like that Lighthouse game, Keeper, that's not moving the needle. South of Midnight, fantastic property and definitely deserves a place on Game Pass and as part of it. But again, you're talking about a studio that never did really have a banger. Like Compulsion is not like this. Is not like this one company that came out and made these massive hits and then all of a sudden they change course. Like I think how you got to do this stuff is you got to build a successful game. And then you have to grow the studio to the point where you can branch off a smaller section if you want it to make a smaller game within there, the smaller scope and scale. I think that's fine. You don't want to discourage people from getting creative either, right? But there's a time and a place. And Microsoft right now, unfortunately, because their things haven't gone the way they had forecasted, they're in a really tough spot. And Asha's in an extremely tough spot. She has the right to ship. It's either right this ship right now, get the sales going and get the boat moving, or the whole fucking thing shutters. It sucks. Nobody wants to see a studio close. And I certainly don't like to see Ninja Theory close down because I love those guys. Technically sound, they're one of the most amazing studios in the business. But if you look at some of the other studios out there, you look at people like Insomniac Games or Sobo or Supermassive, and the list goes on, have been able to pump out at least relatively successful games in a very short period of time. So they're not only just looking at their own studios, they're looking at externals. Look at the stuff that's coming out of Korea and Japan and China, and how these studios have smaller teams, modest budgets, and they're pumping out stuff that is near AAA quality, or certainly as good or anything that's coming out on Xbox for the most part. And they're looking at this too, and they're going, so what's wrong with our studios? Why is everybody delaying games? Why isn't our studios get an open checkbook to be tardy or stupid or whatever the fuck you want to call it? I mean, I just said it on Twitter earlier. I love Rare. Rare was remember how big that name used to be back in the Super Nintendo, the N64, and even the 360 era? What the hell happened to them? They made one game since the Xbox One came out. Let that sink in. One game, Sea of Thieves. That game was over budget, delayed how many freaking times? Finally came out, I think, after 7 years. Broken as shit when it came out. The Kraken didn't even have a body, right? But yet this game still somehow lingers on. I guess it keeps enough players interested that they don't shutter that thing. But how is that studio even going? Maybe somebody's sucking the right dick over there. I don't know what the hell is going on. But
well, I don't know what's going on either.
Like honestly, but how is that studio still rolling? Because I'm thinking, how do you get by on just one game? You haven't made shit, and the other game that people did get excited for, you shut that down, or somebody shut it down with Everwall. So some of these stuff flabbergasts me. I mean, at least Ninja Theory putting out a couple of games. I don't know what to say anymore. I don't like it, but at the same time, I think these are the hard choices that just had to be made here, guys. It's just they suck. They really suck for the people. But what you're going to see is a lot of that talent get absorbed within the other studios. Everybody's going to be jobless. They'll find homes probably within Microsoft itself at different studios. And then the other Achilles heel, I'll leave it off with this, and before I come back and chat afterwards. But they were really banking on Call of Duty and then Activision Blizzard, that acquisition to really carry the load. It was kind of like they thought it was a can't miss. They thought that Call of Duty would be so big for them that anything else that they make could basically get by on subpar performances. But that turned out not to be. And guess what? Whoever made the decision at Activision Blizzard, first of all, to put out probably back to back the two shittiest Call of Duty titles in the history of Call of Duty. Modern Warfare 3, nobody even asked for that because we just played Modern Warfare 2 and they went right back to back with it. And then they put out Black Ops 7, which by all intents and purposes, and based on the amount of people I actually see playing it right now, is probably the worst one in the franchise since forever. So you got two shitty Activision titles. Doom, the latest Doom, while it was a sort of a hit, I'm not seeing people talk about that. I don't think that thing lit things on fire. So there's a lot of games that sort of, I guess you could say, fell below expectations, and this really put them in a pickle. Because when you got enough successful games hitting on all cylinders, you got enough money to kind of float those other ones that don't hit high. But when everything's going downhill, man, when all the shit gets flushed and there's no cream rising to the top, man, you're in a bad spot.
Well said. I mean, not to interject, but I think you nailed it on the head. I think, and I had talked about this a lot, and maybe it was because I was kind of close to it, and I was, always, in the rooms and the parties, but what you're talking about, essentially, is the culture, and it sounds like the culture was lazy. I mean, if that's the way to put it, or too comfortable.
Too comfortable.
It sounds like, yeah, complacent. It sounds like, and even Shannon I think she pointed about Game Pass. You had also the factor of Game Pass, where everything's in Game Pass. It's like, it's like anything else. If you make it comfortable and you don't make people scared in a way, you don't have them fearful, or like, hey, I got to get this done, or I have to hit this deadline, or if that's not there, human nature takes over and they get comfortable, and then the things that usually took a week now take 3 weeks, and then the excuses come. Hey, I need a mental health day. Hey, I need to do this, I can't do that. And then it becomes something where it starts to spread. And it sounds like, from everything else, like, you just look at the quality of all their games. Nothing really was popping. Again, slow. These studios come out. You look at a game like Wukong. I think it's a studio of like 80 people. They're putting out a AAA quality in a short amount of time, and then you have studios that haven't put out a game in 6 years, and then when they put it out, it's like mediocre. It's like okay, it's not the best. Like, and then you had so many of these problems. You look at, like, Redfall. I mean, in
Yeah.
2022, you're hitting a spot where your only exclusive is Pentiment. And people are like, well, it failed. It failed with having exclusives. It's like, no, it
Redfall,
didn't fail.
Avowed,
You guys had
Redfall,
no
Avowed, The
right.
Outer Worlds 2.
It's just like copy and paste,
Uh,
lazy, lazy, taking no risks. And on top of that, you have to be um, ultra super politically correct, and you have to include everyone. Everyone gets a trophy mentality. It's like, you're talking about a recipe for disaster. And this is just one of their problems, big problems. So what Asha's doing, essentially, is she's sending a message. She's sending a message to the whole company, Xbox, and she's saying, no more of this. This is going to be a different, it seems like anything that Phil was doing, she wants to blow up, rightfully so. And I think that that's why they did the exclusives, because they want to say, we're nothing like that. And, I mean, it does seem like everyone's like crashing out on Phil and piling up. But listen, he pushed this for so long that we're all like completely baffled at how it got this bad. And it really is that bad. You talk about Activision, Call of Duty seems like they got that bug. Everyone has the malaise bug. Everyone has the, and it's just, you need to change that. And I come back to the culture. You need to have a culture where you're on fire. You want to beat the competition. You want to have the best games. One studio that this didn't hit was Playground. But if you look at Playground and the things that they said when they wanted to go and be independent, or they wanted to make the biggest game, the thing that they said was, "We want to be we want to be on the level of, Rockstar." And they're a studio where it all worked out, but for that you have 7 other studios that didn't. And like I said, it just looks like the days of feeling like Open Checkbook, Game Pass, whatever you want to call it, that culture is over. And she's really going to go with an extremely aggressive culture. I think he's throwing this all on its head, and it's, to me, it's welcomed, because I feel like it's needed. And again, that's not like I'm saying, oh yeah, I'm hoping these studios can actually be independent and not get
Yeah.
fired, or whatever you want to call it, and be out of jobs. But there'll also be, like you said, there'll be people that move from one studio to another, or they say, hey, we have a availability for you over here. But yeah, it's on. The reset is here. And I do think, though, after the next 2 weeks, it's going to all calm down a little,
Mhm.
which it will be welcomed, because it's been absolutely bananas.
Yes.
Now, I've been seeing online, and I don't know if this is true or not. I know you mentioned it quite a few months ago, Tim, that they would possibly sell. Do you think that that's still on the table, or do you think that that's out the
No,
window?
no, I think that it made sense when I said, like, when this, all of this to get to this point is actually a miracle, and it's a testament to what she's doing.
Okay.
But when this first happened, or even when just before she came on, logically, I would, if somebody said to me, I would say, how would you do this? I'd say, there's no reason to do this. They damaged the brand too much.
Right.
There's no way to get out of this. But what you're actually seeing is not what people are trying to convey it as. It's the opposite.
Okay.
They're seeing a chance to really go for it.
Okay.
Like that's why they want to clear it out. If they wouldn't listen, all you need to know is they would not rug pull gears like that if the company was selling. They
Right.
would not announce a new CEO if the company was selling.
Yeah.
They would
True.
not. They would not hire Matthew Ball May 20th if the company, like, it doesn't work like that. They're seeing, they would not hire Jared Palmer if this company was going to go. So
Right.
no, it's complete opposite. They're gearing up. They're basically cutting the fat, and they're getting ready. And I think it's gonna be, I think they're gonna do it. I feel like they're gonna be real competitive, like, to the point where, as crazy as this has been, like with this, it's gonna be crazy. Like, wow, they're really back. Everyone loves a comeback story, and I just,
Oh, hell yeah.
it's not even like, it's just a feeling I have, and it's just, I just felt it. Like, I felt with Gears, I just felt like they couldn't do it, and I just feel that they're really, there's gonna be a real strong Xbox coming, and we're all gonna be loving it. My account, listen, I talked about the analytics. Frank likes when I do that. I know he's talked about that. The analytics of everything, TikTok, the Xbox account has 10 million. PlayStation has 5 million. It has double the amount of likes. You look at Twitter, when she posts, it goes absolutely viral. It goes crazy. Everything is crazy, off the wall. My numbers. absolutely crazy. Like I'm looking at my numbers all up, 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 way up. Everyone is like, towards when this was getting real bad, like really dire bad, like Jez would put out a tweet and he would usually get, because I always follow this, he would always get like 1,000 or like he would put out a tweet. Dude, he was getting like 75 likes. And that's when it was getting real bad. It was like they were almost irrelevant. To now, they're on fire. And what happens is when you get on fire like this, traditionally, like the way I've seen this, what happens, it shows months down the line, 4 months down the line. That's when you start to see the FOMO. Everything sold out. Gears hits, it's a hit. Halo hits, it's a hit. Fable's coming, it's a hit. That's when the momentum really gets going. And then the
Yeah.
conversations that we're having are not this. You got to realize gamers always, they live in the day. So we think, oh my God, it's over. Everything's blowing up. Oh my God, it's no. I've always had the ability to understand that it is much further down the line. That's how I knew the Gears thing. I could see it. I could see the 4 games not being being all the games. I could see, Phil checked out and he's not posting. I could see all the things that I've been saying that happened. It's not because I'm a prophet or anything. Some of the stuff I know how I get information and I cross-reference it and I know how to connect all the dots. But most of all, it's just foresight. And I don't think gamers, for the most part, do that. They live in the day, they hear the news, and they don't understand that some of this stuff is
Yeah.
way down the line. So, yeah, I think they're back, and I'm very excited. And I think that in 6 months, 7 months, we'll have this conversation, remember it, and we're going to laugh about it. Like when Fable hits, if everything hits, like I'm going to say, Gears is the biggest thing. If it
Yeah.
hits and it's a
Mhm.
big hit, we're on like Donkey Kong.
You can bank on it, brother.
If it doesn't hit, which I don't think is going to happen because the way it looks and the way everyone's going, like Drama Alert is posting about it. I sent that to Guy Welch in the DM. I said, listen, when Drama Alert is tweeting about your game, that's 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 something that's from left field. That's very good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it just means the awareness is like super, super hyper. So like hyperactive. So again, I think 7 months from now, we're going to be talking about, hey man, don't give him Crash. And you know what? Don't give him Elder Scrolls at least timed or 3 months, 6 months. Like that's going to be our energy. And good. Why would you give your games to any of
Yeah.
these people? They've been horrendous the last week. Everyone, even the executives, former executives,
Yeah.
absolutely horrible. Like I have no respect for that.
Right.
Like they're
No.
fanboys, and let's be honest about it. And then they pretend that they're not. They're hateful, and that's all they do.
Yeah, and you know what? Like, look, I know a lot of people like to look at this stuff and they look at it from the side of the poor, woe is me, the poor developer and people getting their jobs. Look, there's not one person on this panel or probably in the chat that likes to see any of this shit. In a perfect world, we wish they could all keep their studios and all keep their jobs. But look, it doesn't matter how big a company you are. It doesn't matter if you got $1 billion company or you got a fucking, a semi-small company. None of these guys like losing money. They don't like going to boardroom meetings where everything is negative or all the numbers escalate downwards. We've seen a steady flow of that. The reports and the statistics show it, man. It's been a steady flow down. These aren't by accident. Now, whose fault is it? Oh, look, it's not necessarily the studio's fault either. There's a lot of bad decisions, and like I said, a lot of shit starts at the top, right? We get that. It's all part of that one big conundrum. They all kind of got to look. The accountability's got to be held everywhere, and it's not just okay. Well, this 1%, this studio, or this studio. Somebody has to be accountable, and I think that's what we're seeing here now. The people that aren't getting fired, there's a lot of people stepping down because they're realizing that their ass is going to be held to the fire here. They're kind of stepping away before the gun gets put to their head because hard decisions are being made, and I guarantee you, there's a lot of memos probably going through these studios that are like, guys, the whole company as a whole is underperforming. You're part of that. We've given you budgets. We've given you time. This is what you've turned up. This is not working for us. We have to change course. It's either change course, like you said, a small sacrifice for the big win at the end of the day. Nobody likes it, but Microsoft is starting to look that they got to put a lot more of their money into the safer bets, to put it into the games that they know will move the needle, and not dump millions and millions and millions into games that can't even get people to subscribe to Game Pass that they're trying to sell. Right? They're trying to do a lot of stuff. We get that. And it's not on somebody's fault. It's not their fault. So, like, you put out a game and you hope that it resonates with fans, but therein turn lies part of the problem. Like, none of these games they put out were moving the needle. As good as they were, they're not system sellers. They're not. Look, you didn't even need to see the word Gears of War or even know about Gears of War when that trailer was shown and that after show last week. You could have been just a video game fan, and anybody that saw that and thinks that was awful or that game did not get you excited, let me tell you, my rinky dink moved a few millimeters seeing that one. You know what I mean? Like, that's the kind of shit that gets you going. People know. You watch these shows, you know what gets you excited and you know what does not. Because we all sit there, we go, that trailer was nuts. And then you look at this next game and you go, what the hell was that? Right?
That's me all the time.
You see that at every show, right?
Well, this is the time where the show goes downhill.
Yep.
Yeah, well, you know what I'm talking about, right? Everybody in the chat knows exactly what I'm saying here is 100% true. And yes, I understand you need to have the little stuff, but look, it looks to me like Xbox would rather start investing in the third parties because it's a safer bet. They don't also have to pay for the staff. They don't have to pay for the staff. They don't have to pay for, right? They just got to give them enough money to put the game on there. And if the game tanks, Microsoft's not left holding the whole fucking bet. You guys understand that? Okay. Right? But with look, Halo is going to be a success regardless. It may not be, not every Halo's going to, like Halo Infinite did well. It might not have done as well as we had hoped or they had hoped, okay? But the thing is, those games will survive because they have a player base big enough to sustain them. Gears of War, Halo, the Forzas, stuff like that people know, right? To some degree, the Doom. They know exactly where the money is. They know which eggs are cooked and which eggs are just broken shells. Like, that's what they're trying to trim down, is trim the fat down at this point. It's not working. They tried it. They gave it a shot. It's not working. We got to accept that. It sucks. A couple of years ago, we're all gloating about all these studios he had. And that would have been great if they had more studios that were actually making them a ton of money. But I'm sorry, guys, it's not. And Game Pass is not making them the money you think it is either, because that's another problem. So they're sinking money. Again, Satya Nadella just said it. They're subsidizing shit, and it's not working. And Call of Duty was supposed to subsidize them, and even that's not really working.
Noof, he said
you got to fix the problem.
He said streamers on YouTube, like gamers, make more money than Xbox does.
Yeah, that was a direct shot at and that's true though. He said YouTube, like something like that's true though. I kind of feel I got like 15, 20 minutes because I got to get up in the morning.
No problem.
But I think really great point there. When's the last time they've done a AAA? Or they've done any kind of a third party exclusive? Like, they forgot that actually exists. And you just said it. That's something where you don't have to own. Like, you could just make a bet. You see a game, you say, okay, this will get us to people on, and you do that. And then you could get rid of, in their mind, unfortunately, like you said, we don't like it, but they're going to lose, let's say, 4 studios, but then they could just make these bets. And then on top of that, you have, you don't have to put that game in Game Pass. Okay, because that's listen, they're going to move away from day and day. I think that's eventually going to be another topic, but they're going to move away. But you know what? It's like, I remember always talking. I've talked about this a ton of times. We spend money, all of us. We all spend money. I'd rather, you know what? If you're going to give me the option to have the game for free onto Game Pass or whatever for the service, yeah, I'm going to take it and then I'm going to go buy WWE. With the money if I have spare. I'm not going to buy the game because that's just personal. I'd rather, like I said, okay, I can count on this. But if you say, okay, you have to buy the game, I'm not going to get mad. You know what I mean? I'm just going to say, okay, I'll just buy it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not a big deal. I own it. It's if I've done this my whole life, it's not a big deal. So yeah, I think that you're going to start to see that move away. because I don't know if they're going to get to the subscriptions that they need. Now they're going to do about the YouTube and the money. They're going to do something like you saw Klarna today, like buy it now, pay later.
Right.
They're going to be really aggressive with that stuff. And I think people are going to bitch and moan about certain things about that. But the reality is that that's just in this bubble. Reality is that somebody, sees that and they want to play the game, they'll do it and they'll just whatever. So they're going to get people. It's called barrier to entry. I think that's what they use the term. But I think that's a way to get people on. Same thing with the ads and stuff like
100%.
that. That's not like something where they're like your ultimate is not going to just start to have ads. It doesn't work like that. They're just going to be an option where, there'll be a free or like a $5.99 Hulu type deal where if you want, you could do that and you could use it. And some people will actually do it, and maybe a lot of people. But the
It
bottom
works great.
right, they're gonna be very creative in that way, and I think that they're gonna be creative too with their marketing. I do think that this is gonna come. I do think that marketing is gonna get hit here, and I think that they're gonna have a different type of marketing. Again, the days of Phil and that culture, that like nice, super nice culture that's friendly. I think that's gone. Honestly, I think you're gonna see what you saw like with Gears, cursing and this in your face. I think listen again. I really feel like if I'm reading this the right way, um, they're really geared up. And like I said, I talked to some people. I don't, that's nothing new. Like you guys know that. The people, listen, if they're down and out, first of all, they're down and out, they're not contacting me.
Right.
Okay. So if they're contacting me right away, something's up. And when they're contacting me saying like, this is like crazy how she operates, how fast she is. That's another thing, man. She's so fast, but there's no reason to worry. I know that comes up, and that's because you have these bad faith actors that are saying, "Oh yeah, the end is near," but they're not talking about Jared Palmer or Matthew Ball. It gets like it gets like really annoying to me because it's like it's always constantly like like a high-end journalist says something like that, like, "Oh, I don't know." It's like, dude, like, I didn't even talk about the two people why would they hire? Why would they hire?
Yeah.
If they're not going to do anything and they're going to shutter it down, you're just going to hear everyone quiet. It'll be dead, like it was in January. It's just going to be like, nobody cares. There's not going to be any hires. But when you see movement like this, it's because they have a plan 4 months ahead. This is a call to arms or whatever, or they're getting themselves in a position where she can be flexible, where she can say, you know what, let's call up and let's call this studio and let's get a AAA exclusive, and we'll put it on Xbox, but we're not putting it in Game Pass, and we're going to sell the hardware. They're going to look to sell the hardware. Now, there's other arguments about Helix with the no con of the controller. I don't know I think that, listen, when you hear that type of stuff, what that's telling you is that they're doing nothing. They're going to push that out, and then they're going to recoup like they're doing now, and then they're going to R&D for something, which is probably going to be a traditional console, which in the end makes the most sense. The Helix, let's be honest, guys, it never made any sense. Like,
No, it
you're
didn't.
niching your store and you're making it a $1,200. What was her words? A highly premium.
A boutique
You know,
product.
what the hell? That's. But she had that comment. She had exclusives are antiquated and everything's an Xbox. That's three whammies to like make you like want to throw your phone into the river. You know what I mean? Like you see that, like you're like, what is this? But
Oh,
think
yeah.
It's
about
like
that.
telling. That's like your first date telling you she's got fucking herpes and gonorrhea all piled into one. It's like
I don't know about that.
No, but no, the point is though, for real though, like the Helix didn't make sense. Now, maybe they could do a Helix, which is the third party OEM, or even if it's Xbox, that's like a PC builder or whatever you want to say. But they have to have a traditional console. And I think that they're in a position before I go, they're in a position where they can dictate to Sony. Because if they push out, that puts a ton of pressure on Sony. Because Sony then has to put out a console that they're going to have that's $800. That's going to be their next generation of console, and then they have Xbox, who now has a ton of strong IPs, games coming more than them, and they have a really strong ecosystem, and then they can make a 499 repurposed X that and sell that. Guarantee you that scares the shit out of them because that's a big risk. They want to have
Mhm.
the sure thing. So Xbox could throw this on its head. And what I think will happen is if they push out to 2030 or whatever, 2031, Sony is going to say, okay, we're gonna restructure our agreement with AMD, and we're gonna push it out too. Like I ask people that are in the know about this, there are options. Like they are somewhat locked in, but AMD is gonna always want their business. So if and also AMD's under the pressure of they don't have these chips, and it's
Right.
just a crazy situation right now in the parts with the parts that I do think that they're just going to push off. But who knows? But the bottom line is that you can't have a Helix, in my opinion. It
No,
just makes no sense.
it never did.
Never did. Just like antiquated exclusives and everything's an Xbox, which is maybe one of the worst things I've ever heard in my life.
Can I tell you something
I
real
mean,
quick? I've been thinking about this all week. I know this is probably dumb, but let's just say, why doesn't Xbox, if they're running out of supply chain of the Series X, why don't they just get all the used ones from GameStop? Since GameStop has them just sitting in the back, take those, refurbish them, repurpose them, sell them as refurbished, but at a $499 price tag. Boom. I mean, you got people that'll buy right then and there.
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, they have to. They're probably going to be, they're going to be, creative, but I do think that you're gonna have. It's gonna be very interesting in the holidays, and I know we always watch that. I think everything's gonna be sold out,
Yeah.
and then you might even have like eBay stupid stuff, and like where like you have, because if it's true that they can't produce, because there's gonna be a demand for
Oh, there will.
Xbox.
Yeah.
I really kind of feel, and then the no also the no controller rumor is so stupid because Xbox still has no. They don't have they don't have a revised controller like DualSense. DualSense. That's for PlayStation 5. My favorite thing is that controller. Like
Mhm.
that
Yeah.
controller differentiates the whole deal, and it's so awesome.
Yeah.
And if Xbox can
Mhm.
have that, like have a new controller that's like that, that's like $80 and whatever, it's really cool. That's awesome. Then you have a new console with a
Mhm.
new, or you have a console that's repurposed, whatever you want to say, redesigned with that controller. And then that would be formidable against an 800. Because again, it's gonna come down to it's gonna come price factor and all of that still comes into play. You're in uncharted territory when you're bringing out consoles that are going to be 700, $800.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be 700. Now it's probably 800, 900. Everything is going up. There's no way. There's no way to predict this. So again, that's why I think that they're going to push
Mhm.
this out.
Yeah. Frank?
So, Frankie, I want to hear what you say, and I gotta go.
Well, as far as the studio closures go, we'll bring it back to that. I definitely think that they do need to trim the fat. And like we all say, it sucks people are losing their jobs, but they are slow as molasses over there. They haven't put games out fast enough. The games are launching at 30 frames. They're not quality. They need to trim the fat down and just focus on the big studios. I think that's the right move because they
Yeah.
can't keep operating the way they're operating. They're just too big and too bloated. They should rein rare back in. get them off of Sea of Thieves. Have the other studios focus on Halo, focus on Gears, focus on Forza, the stuff that makes money. Like you said, stop doing the passion projects. They don't make money. If studios want to do that, let them fund it themselves. Um, everyone's playing with Microsoft's checkbook, so they think, "Oh, I'll just do this and whatever." And it's like you got to produce something. They can't just be Mr. Nice Guy. They got to be rough on these studios and be like,
Yeah.
"Listen, you got to produce." Look at Sony. Even though a lot of their games are like pretty stupid, they come out at 60 frames. They look good. Their quality, the build quality is there. Whether you like even if you don't like God of War Laufey, it's going to come out at running optimally, and Microsoft just can't do that for some reason, which makes no sense because they have more money than God. But they just, like you said, they're slow.
Culture.
They get lazy. So I mean, I
Yeah.
don't know. I think that's the right move. Cut the studios, cut the fat, let them buy themselves out, and try to trim it down.
And also, like what you've said, and that's a great comment. If you really want to mess around and you want to do something, then play around with a third party. You know what I mean? Like, again, there's, even though there's so many things that people say are so negative and it's so bad, if you really think about it, Xbox has so many opportunities here, or so many ways that they can go, and it's not. It's the biggest thing I can honestly say is that it's no longer a dire strait. We're in a situation where now they're very interesting. They were like, they still have the Game Pass problem. They still have Helix. What is that? How are you going to do that? But the reality is that they're getting to a point where they're getting formidable again. And that's what you want. You don't want them to be in a position where they're dead in the water and there's like nobody can figure this out. It's getting to a point where you could see that they're gearing up. The guy Matthew is absolutely fantastic. Asha seems like she, like she's presenting herself as like the Grim Reaper or something. I don't know. I don't know if you guys have noticed that, but like they're making her badass with the sunglasses. Maybe it's the Terminator. I don't know, but they're doing that for a reason.
Are they stealing from me
They're-
again, Tim?
Say it again.
Are they stealing from me again? They stole the slogan and steal my glasses. What else is going on?
Yeah, agreed. You know what? It's funny because I talked to somebody about her the way she looks like well, I know she, I talked to somebody like they believe it or not, marketing takes that stuff very seriously, and some of the stuff is spoken about and decided upon, like the way she dresses and some of the stuff. And one of the things that somebody told me was like the sunglasses that's done on purpose. Like they're doing that I don't know what I guess they're trying to say that they're the Terminator and she's going to just basically blow away Sony, maybe take a shotgun to Sony. I don't know, but they're pushing something that is real. Like we can laugh, but that's done on purpose. And like you look at that Gears video where she looks like she's freaking. It looks like she's just like it's a Grim Reaper, and she, like look at that video. I want you guys to look at it, and like it looks like dark, and even though it's the gear symbol and stuff, and the way she looks, she looks badass, dude. Like, and I think that's they're trying to convey to you that like she's a killer, she's a shark, she's gonna go after everyone, which is cool. Where Phil is like, this guy's like, hey guys, let's do Everlast and let's talk to the animals and I mean, come on,
We're
like,
done
dude,
playing
like,
around here. We're coming
No.
for your ass.
I mean, dude, it's like, so I think that they realize that, like, the whole nice guy, kumbaya, talking, like, just look at that game, Everwild, whatever, I keep calling it Everlast, but Everwild, dude, what are we doing? You're talking to a fish? And then they didn't even know what the game was. They were like, what's the game? And like, that's where you talk about the culture and not being serious. It just was a big joke. Like, what was like
Yeah.
they had Everwild kicking around for 3 years. They didn't even know what the game was.
I still don't
You
know what it
talk
is.
to a leaf. You go up to
Yeah.
what was that thing? You go up to a green frog, and you're like, oh, what is that? Nobody
But
watches
Tim,
that.
imagine the
every
money and
time-
time wasted on that.
Every time I listen to a podcast, they're like, "Well, Everwild's coming this year," and I'm like, "What is Everwild? I don't even know what the hell it is."
Yeah. They're still trying to figure it out. For real. They and that was guess whose game that was. I think it was Luis O'Connor's. They did like, first of all, they didn't know what it was. They were gonna make it like a games as a service. Then they were like, no, we're gonna make it where you go into wildlife and you talk to deers. And like it's like what? And like it's like, okay, is this a humiliation ritual? Like, are you just, because you're gonna get clowned? Like, honestly, like they didn't know what the hell it was. Okay, guys, 3 years. Now we talk about culture. We had 3 years about a game that we didn't know about, that you talk to horses and nobody knows what you're doing. I mean, it's a big joke.
Yeah.
I mean, we're laughing,
Yeah.
but it's getting me annoyed thinking about it. Like, dude, like, what is
Yeah.
that?
A lot of time and money wasted, that's for
Yeah.
sure.
Years of
Yeah,
time
and
and
you,
just
and,
Years.
and there
millions.
has to be, and there's got to be a coincidence that under Phil's leadership, under his leadership, have you noticed that how many major studios seem to all drop the ball between
Yeah.
deals falling through? Like we had the big deal that with that Dragon game, that fucking Scalebound that went tits
Yeah.
up, and everybody wanted that.
Fable Legends.
It started there, and the Fable Legends, and it's just a spiral effect. And even the big studios, like they couldn't get it done over at
Perfect Dark.
at 343 or the Halo Studios or whatever. The Perfect Dark thing, what
I'm
a
still
shit
mad
show
about
that
Perfect
was.
Dark.
Like,
I look back.
you know,
I'm gonna say this before I close for myself, because I gotta go to sleep. But I look back, and like I remember some of the Phil comments. Like, he used to like wax poetically. He's like, "There's gonna be a special moment at the C3, and it's gonna be special to me." And like he would be all emotional about it, or like he'd be like, "It's special." And then it was Crackdown 3 when they announced Crackdown 3. Then like, okay, another game where they dropped the ball. Like I think of that. They had Dave Jones on it. It looked so cool. I was thinking in my head that you're blowing up gas lines and buildings, and the building was blowing up, and like my mind was just like, it's gonna be so amazing. I see these skyscrapers smashing into it. I'm thinking like the whole world is gonna be like that. I'm talking to Showstopper. I'm like, yeah, man, you're gonna be able to do this. And then they put out whatever the hell that was. Like, it was a joke. I mean, you
we
remember
hope
what
by
they
putting
put
Terry
out?
Crews in the game, everybody will forget about the rest of it.
It's literally what
Dude,
they thought.
that's exactly what that's a cult, that right, exactly right there is a culture issue. That's lazy, that's uninspired, and that's total pussy. And that's the problem. For real. Like, I get that we're really getting in on Phil, but like, it needs to be said, and it needs to be understood that that it needs to be studied too. Like, you take a look at like Everwild, like really, like Crackdown 3. You release that, and you tell us that you're canceling games like Scalebound and Fable Legends because it's not meeting your level of quality, and then you turn around and you give us Crackdown 3 that has Terry Crews, and that's your sell.
Yeah.
And like, you have so many of these accounts. They had a culture problem, and that's why, again, that's why you're seeing badass Terminator Asha, is because they know they listen. As much as we talk about it and know about it, like, I've come to the terms with this, like, to understand, they know all of this. Okay, they have to. They lived it. So when you see things like that with Asha, and they're trying to change the culture, again, it's done because of all the things that we just talked about. You know, many people podcasts, I doubt, would even talk about it. And that's why I love this podcast, is because the stuff that we just talked about, nobody talks about, but it's very real.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we're talking about her sunglasses and why she's doing that, but then we're tying into the culture of Phil and Everwild, where we don't even, we still, what is that game? like we don't know what it is, and then we tie it into all these other lazy projects. You know, Halo Infinite, and this is how I'm going to leave on this. Halo Infinite, come on, you show that trailer, and I'm watching that trailer, and I'm thinking to myself, wow, this is gonna get, this is not, this is gonna be bad. Sure enough, they dropped the ball with your game that Phil said, if we lose our way with Halo, we lose our way with Xbox. You know,
He's right.
like it felt like it felt like a humiliation ritual. It really did, looking back. Some of the comments that he made, I remember him saying, you know, it's going to be a special moment when we announce PUBG, and PUBG wasn't even an exclusive. It was a year exclusive, and he was like bragging about it, like, bro, what are you kidding about? How about when he told me, when I had a fight with him about 45 games exclusives? We announced 45 games in 2017 that are coming to the thing. I'm like, Phil, did you see the games? I
Yeah.
want games like Horizon, not like whatever that you just showed. Like those 45 games is 45 games of quantity of low end shit. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Where we just need one banger. Remember bangers? We always talk about
Yeah.
bangers. How
Too
long
much
did
filler and not enough thriller.
exactly? So that's where we're gonna go to sleep, guys. I'm going to sleep. I got to work tomorrow. I got to drive to my crazy job. So appreciate it. Good job, and hopefully tomorrow we can not be woken up by some craziness.
I hope not. All right. Thank you so much, Tim.
You guys
Thanks,
will.
Tim.
You guys will.
Have a good night.
Today they stepped on a rake. Tomorrow it might be the shovel, because at some point somebody's gonna have to bury that shit.
You never know. I wanted to mention Contraband, because that was a game we heard for years, and then when they silently canceled it, they never officially canceled it.
Yeah.
We were starting to hear, well, it was about the police in the 70s, and I'm like, well, it's Starsky and Hutch. Is that what you're trying to sell me? You made me wait all that time for that? I don't know.
Yeah, and now we got to wonder if that other game that Ninja Theory was working on, Project Mara, will that ever see the light of day?
I thought that was Redfall. I thought Project Mara was right. There's so many freaking project names. Like, what the hell? Well, Project Mara, I don't even know anymore.
Yeah.
Maybe that was the inside of Phil's ass. I don't know.
I do want to touch on something that was brought up earlier, just before I was still on my top of mind here. The whole Klarna thing. I think it's amazing. That's awesomely welcomed. Look, and I know, because I use a firm for a lot of my purchases on Amazon.
Right.
And the thing, it doesn't mean I can't afford a game or I can't afford some of this stuff. But the thing is, sometimes I'm in between checks. When stuff comes out, sometimes I just don't really have the money sitting around.
Right, right.
And it's super easy for me to pay $7 a month or $12 a month or $30 a month, as opposed to paying, say, $120 all up front, and then leaving me short, say, on some of my bills or whatever. So this stuff has worked out really well for me, and I think it's fantastic. I mean, that's how I got my motorcycle helmet off of Fort 9. I paid it out in 6 months. There was little and next to no interest, so way better than a credit card option. It's easy. As long as the money's in your bank account, the shit comes out, and it allows you to keep buying something. I think it's genius. And people are saying, well, Microsoft won't. No, so here's how it works, dumbasses. When stores buy the games, they have to buy it all up front. Like when we buy our hockey equipment, it's not on consignment. Like my boss has to go out and spend $150,000 to buy fucking, buy hockey gear, which is paid for with his accounts and on his credit cards. It's in our store. And what he's doing is counting on us to sell it, right? That's how it works. The stuff is paid for. So Microsoft ships you copies, and then they sell out of it at a store. How they win is by selling through, and then that store owner has to go and buy more copies of the game. That's how it works. So when Klarna is already paying Microsoft for those games, whatever they got to stock, right? They get their money regardless. It's Klarna that has to get it back, and they're trusting on you that you'll be honest and fucking pay them back. Otherwise, they'll send the collections agencies after you. That's how it's going to work. Those consoles will be paid for, and you'll get the advantage of being able to get an expensive console by maybe like a measly fee of $12 or $15 a month, or whatever it is your plan is gonna entail. So I think it's kind of cool, and I'm excited about that. I think it's actually going to allow more people to play more games and buy these consoles day one if they go ahead with it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I hope that Xbox can get the supply in, and I think they'll be all right. You know, this she said that tough decisions and a hard reset was coming. We're here, okay? And this is going fast. We're not waiting a year for this. We're not waiting 6 months for it. This lady is moving fast. You know why? Because she has to. This brand cannot wait any longer. They need to start doing stuff now so that they can get their stuff ready for the future and stay around. I mean, if she sits on her ass for a year and say, yeah, we'll hard reset in a year, she's done. Like, the whole thing is done. So
they're going to take.
Let's kick in the gear
Why
here.
not take it now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, why wait a year or two and then have to make the decision? And people just say, well, what? People will go in and go, well, why didn't you just do that a year ago? Well, because the teams would have been probably like 3 times further along. I mean, obviously, some of those, they probably saw where their projects were, and they're like, yeah, they're kind of right toward the end of life now, so we'll let them see it through. But yeah, we're going to have to kill the studios. But they're pretty much just about done. They're in the finishing stages. We'll see it through to the end. They'll put their last project out, and we're just saying, hey, we're not paying you anymore. So, somebody will buy you out or you guys get absolved, but whatever.
Yeah.
And my guess is with Ninja Theory, this is the one I don't understand as much because it's in that was a high profile studio that had some pedigree. And we certainly know that from a tech standpoint, these guys know how to push those envelopes a little better. But I think a lot of it came down to the fact that Hellblade 2, I think, took a lot longer to come out than they had hoped. It was kind of in a bit of a limbo for a while. And then it finally came out. Again, this was Microsoft's fault on this part, was very little marketing, very little know-how, very little anything about this game. And a lot of people didn't even know the game came out. Didn't really know what it was when it did came out. And then the game was, like I said, solid, if not lackluster. It's graphically, sure, it's a showcase title. But gameplay-wise, it was a game that people played, beat it in a couple hours, and forgot about it by the next day. That's the way it was. You know what I mean? That's a problem. That's not a game that's going to resonate, get people talking, and get more people subscribing. You got to accept the stuff like Gears and Halo. That's what we were talking about after the show this past week, is how good and amazing those games were. And that's what they got to get back to. They got to get back to making stuff like Nintendo Showcase. Frank, you know this all too well. Nintendo does a showcase, it's 3 games that get all the hype, and the other 25 were like,
The other ones are like
Japanese. Yeah.
Well, it's like you buy the games for the Switch for their games, and the other ones are a bonus if you like those games. Nobody's like buying a Switch to play those games, pretty much.
Huh. Nintendo's games and Capcom was the only things I got excited about on their showcase the other day. Everything else was like, oh my god, what the hell is this?
And you wouldn't even buy Capcom games on there if you didn't want to play Mario games, because you wouldn't have the system. They're literally their whole thing is the exclusives.
Yeah. Exactly. 100% facts. You wouldn't have a Switch if it wasn't for the Nintendo shit.
Well,
Yep, and then the other developers are like, this is great because now people are double dipping and buying Capcom games, and that's why we're supporting it. And it just works for everybody when you have a healthy ecosystem.
Tim calls Frank the Tank. So there you go. He holds
Did
his
somebody
name
hack
up.
Xbox? Because Disney Dollars, the Xbox Live Network is down right now. They're having all sorts of issues. I wonder if somebody fucking hacked them.
They're trying to silence us.
Probably somebody inside the studio is like,
maybe they shut down the wrong thing.
Oops, wrong button.
They shut down the internet. You ever hear the story about Bill Gates and wasn't Warren Buffett okay, he would play I think Peter Moore told the story. What?
Wasn't it chess?
Yes. He'd play online chess with I think Warren Buffett. One of these crazy was it the rock and roll guy or the politician? I think it was the rock and roll guy.
I don't remember. Some
Bill
really
Gates
rich
would
guy.
play chess every night with some famous guy, okay? Peter Moore, who was running the gaming division at the time, Xbox and all that stuff, he's looking at the numbers and he's like, 3 people play this chess game. He goes, turn the shit off. He turned the server off. Bro, Bill Gates goes online to play with that guy and the server shut down. He fucking calls him up and starts screaming at him on the phone. So I thought that was pretty funny. He shut the wrong thing off by accident.
Shut his boss off.
Warren Buffett, Jimmy Buffett. It was probably Jimmy Buffett, right?
I would think it would be Warren Buffett. Jimmy Buffett's some weird guy. I don't
Jimmy
know.
Buffett's a
I
musician,
don't know.
man.
I don't know anything anymore. It was
I
somebody.
don't know anything anymore.
Buffett, they're all the same.
Whoever
Oh,
had the
Sparks, you got
restaurant
your
that I
little
went to, the Paradise Restaurant.
Oh, that's Jimmy Buffett.
I think that's the guy. You know what? You could just Google it, Frank, and give us the answer by the end of the show.
Let's see if I can find
Which there's
it.
not much time left in this show. Anybody have any questions in the chat room?
Oh yeah, Bill Gates and Jimmy Buffett were friends.
Okay,
And fellow
there you go.
billionaires.
And he's the cheeseburger guy, right?
Wait, it says they shared work with Warren Buffett. They're all friends. All the Buffetts and the Gateses. What the hell?
So it was
Okay,
both
I'm
guys.
confused.
Okay, Peter, you got to calm down, buddy. It was both guys then.
I can't find this chess story, but I've heard this before because I knew about it. when you
Peter
mentioned
Moore
it.
told it, I think, on the Xbox. They had Seamus Blackley, Phil Spencer, and Peter Moore on there, and I think
Yeah.
he told the story there. That was IGN, I
Hmm.
think, a couple of years ago.
See, case in point about games. Right now on the screen, we're seeing Spyro Realm Beyond, right? So now, Spyro never sold as much as Mario or Sonic, but Spyro still was a successful title and still has a lot of nostalgia and still has a loyal following and a fan base. More people were excited about that than a lot of other shit. And this is how I say, like, this is another problem within a lot of these companies is there's the tone deafness of not just listening to your fan base. Like going out and doing stuff that people are asking for instead of just hiring people and building absolute crap. Like just, just like listen to your fans. What you got to do is you got to build the big games first. And then with, in between titles is when you get, part of your studio to build something else that might be a little more risky, but then you don't take the big hit. You got another title that's while you're waiting is already bringing in the cash flow, right? That's how it works. So I don't know. A lot of people would take a new Spyro over half the crap we saw. That's for sure.
Yeah. I mean, people have been asking for it for a long time. You even got that new Crash game about 10 years ago, and people have been dying for Spyro, and they just never pulled the trigger on it. They did the remaster thing, with the 3 games. That was fine, but they never they didn't go any farther with it, At least Crash got Crash 4, and then they got, what was it, Crash Bash? And then you're still waiting for Spyro, and there's nothing. So.
Yeah, I mean, if they brought back like Banjo or Conquer or something, it would be huge. The Spyro trailer got like 7 million views or something. It was crazy. So
Yeah, that. What does that tell you? It tells you there's a demand, and I think if you brought back Banjo, you brought back Conquer. Look, I can't guarantee you and sit here and say those games. Like Banjo will do better because Banjo is a little bit better, more of has a wider fan base. Plus, it's also more of a general audience. So you're not limiting the amount of people that are going to play it or the people that can buy it. Whereas Conquer, if they're going to do Conquer, they got to do it, like the old one. It's got to be a rated M mature game. Otherwise, what's the point of doing it? So that one's going to limit itself a little bit. But the bottom line is, like, you got to add diversity to your lineup of games, but also having proven properties and characters that people will enjoy, the characters that are engaging. This is part of what's killing games too. It's not just about the games itself sometimes. It's about the graphic designers and the people that come up with the characters and stuff, and how a lot of these games don't have interesting characters. They're people you don't want to play. They don't look interesting. They don't look good. So that's part of it too, right? Like, that's part of the allure with a game like Final Fantasy. They got cool looking characters and they got, good looking girls and a whole bunch of stuff. And yes, like, I get it, but you can't build every game where the girl is flatter than the wall in your house and looks like she got beat with a brick upside the face. Like, sorry, you still got to build characters that have some sense of attraction, especially when most of your core audience are friggin' males.
Yeah, that's very true.
Not to be chauvinistic, misogynistic, or whatever label you friggin' turd burglars want to throw at me, but that's the law of nature. It's fucking fact.
Yeah, Yeah,
I guarantee you that every video game magazine that had Lara Croft's ass on it back in the day sold 5 times as many copies as one that had some.
that's why they kept
stupid
putting her
shit
on
the
there.
cover.
You know what I mean? Because they knew they were going to hit
Yeah,
every
right?
demographic.
It's just laws. And now the movie companies are doing it. And guess what? The same shit in the movie industry, same shit in every other industry that's pushing these stupid agendas and political messaging. Guess what's happened to them all? They're all tanking. It ain't just video games, baby. It's all over the place because people
Right.
had enough of it. Sure, it was fine to put a little bit in here and there and smidge a little bit in back in the day, and nobody said 2 words. But when you got game after game after game coming out with shit that you're like, well, why is that even? You go, why is that even in there? Like, it's one thing to be in there, but it's another thing when you force it in there. Like Mass Effect had a lot of this crap. But
Right.
Mass Effect was like Mass Effect never forced it in. It didn't feel like the designers put it in there because they were told to. They
Right.
put it in there because they thought it was unique, right?
Yeah.
And nobody said anything. But now it's like, well, we can't build this game unless we got this character and this character looks like this, and we got these pronouns and we got something else, and like
Right.
that's part of your problem too. People are tired of being preached at. Make entertainment, not make political statements. There's a place and a time for that, but it ain't in their friggin' entertainment, people.
Right. No, I agree. I mean, people, they watch entertainment, they enjoy entertainment to escape all that stuff. You know what I mean? So
Exactly. Like, what's next? They're going to complain. I suppose they didn't try to get Lady Dimitrescu from Resident Evil band because she was kind of a sexy, big ass zombie vampire bitch or whatever the hell she was with giant bosoms.
well,
know?
the thing is with that though, you know, that character was created in Japan, so they're not going to go after
Oh,
the Japanese, you know, for
that. That explains everything. That was created in Japan. Yeah.
created in Japan. You notice that's why. Listen, that's why they never blame Hollywood. I'm sorry. They always blame video games and never really Hollywood for like whenever there's like some crazy stuff going on. They always say video game. Oh no, it's because of video game. You know why? Because there's no
Yeah.
central area for video games. Most of it's in Japan. Hollywood, they can say, oh, well, it's Hollywood. They're never going to blame Hollywood because the contributions, the money, all that stuff. So they're always going to point at video games because there's no central hub. That's what I've noticed over the years. So that's why when people, oh, they're blaming Grand Theft Auto, who cares? It's not going to go anywhere. No one cares. Like, it's not a big deal. They're just pissed off today and pointing at somebody and pointing at games. You think Super Mario's going to get shut down? No. Like, come on.
He steps on Goombas. We cannot have this anymore.
Yeah, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I did want to go off on another tangent because
Go ahead, let's go.
I'm just trying to say that sometimes it's the design choices within the games itself do as much harm. And of course, people say, "Well, people just shut up and played the game." It would be no, but it's the point. Look, we're in a day and age too now where you just can't avoid this stuff. The media plays it up, the people play it up, social media plays it up. It's in your face, you know. And look, at the end of the day, I can play anything if the game is good. I'll try to overlook it. But again, I'm just saying, like, just cut back on it a little bit. Like, just don't force it. Like, let the game be the game. If the character was written as a girl, it's meant to be a girl. It's like the James Bond conundrum, where you're always hearing people now talking about James Bond, and he's a male, and this, that. I think we should have a female James. No, James Bond is not Janessa Bond, or you know, it was James Bond. He was written as a male. It's in a book, okay? They don't need to alter anything that was already pre-written. This is the whole point. If you want to make 008 and call her, you know, Vanessa Gold Bond or whatever the hell you want to call her, go ahead. But don't take James Bond and make him something different because you got to come up with something. You know, like it's just don't.
That's what spin-offs used to be about. You know what I mean?
Watch it.
They would always spin off other characters to give them their own little franchise just to make them part of the continuity. You know what I mean? And then, you know, like 10 years ago, 15 years ago, they're doing all this shit where they're just like replacing all these guys. And it's like, I kind of get it, but at the same time, it's like, why would you mess with that? Like, for example, I'm not going to get into all this, but the Ghostbusters, they changed them into the women, all right?
Yeah.
Whatever. If you would have done it right, storyline wise, there would not have been an issue, I don't think, with a lot of people. But I'll tell you something. My mom is a huge Ghostbusters fan. And when I told her, oh, yeah, they got rid of everyone, they got women now. And she's like, but those aren't the Ghostbusters. And my mom's not coming from a political agenda here. She's a woman just saying, but those aren't the Ghostbusters.
Yeah, even the women notoriously don't like going to the movies where they're basically like taking the dudes out or whatever. Like that's not what they're there to see either. Like I can guarantee you, a lot of those women want to go to the theater and want to see a half-naked Jason fucking Momoa up on screen. You know what I mean?
Well, the Full Monty, remember? All the women went to go see that movie in the theater. That was okay.
Just making a point here, guys. Don't kill me for it. But I think there's some truth.
And then when Showgirls came out, AC Slater was the first guy to buy a ticket, and he was there all night. That was a joke. Come on.
Yeah. Like nobody had like when Aloy came out in Horizon. I didn't see a whole lot of complaints over Aloy when she first came out, because it was kind of right before the whole trend started to kick off and go the opposite direction, right?
The problem with Aloy is that she fucking takes forever to talk. That's all she does is talk all fucking day. That's the only problem I have with Aloy.
She's trying to be dramatic all the time.
She asks a question. That turned into another question, which turned into 5 more questions. And it's like, dude, lady, the game would have been fucking over if you would have stopped talking to this guy 45 years ago. Like, god damn. The combat's good in that game, but when I get to play it,
wheels are a little excessive. Yeah. Oh, you found this thing over here?
And then it opens up 10 dialogue wheels. It's like, what are we doing?
Please tell me about the guy with the broken leg that I must find on another mountain.
Noof, Horizon 2, okay? Horizon 2, I was streaming it. And the people in my chat room said, please turn this off. We're just tired of seeing it. And I said, I'm not turning it off because I just spent a lot of money on this game. And it got to a point where like a half an hour later, please turn this off. We're going to leave. So I turned the fucking game off and played something else. And a million people came in my chat room.
We're going to leave.
I got to go home every day and I got to listen to my wife bitch at me the same exact way. I don't need her doing it too. Did you take out the garbage?
Well, you got a lot of shit for that laundry meme. I thought that was pretty funny. God of War laundry meme.
I never thought of it that way. Yeah, that was so fucking awesome.
That was funny.
Tossing the shit in there. That was great. Whoever came up with that. Throwing the wash in. Lao Fei. Oh my god.
The cube.
God of War laundry. Wasn't it laundry? Yeah, God of War laundry. She's like tossing shit in the cube.
You gotta clean Kratos's skid marks underwear and all that.
His loincloth.
Yeah. Fuck, I did some laugh when I saw
he
that.
shit himself when he fought the ogre.
Dude, Kratos' underwear probably
the stains of Spartan.
Oh, man.
This went off the rails, but yeah.
Who cares? It's about having fun. That's the whole point.
I know.
Point of this whole thing.
Look, I mean, just to sum things up, the studio closures, no matter what happens, how much of it's true, because I would imagine there's a lot of beef or a lot of truth to most of it. They really do suck, and nobody envies any of the positions. You don't envy them for sure because it's their jobs on the line. But like I said, billion-dollar companies are not like when it's okay to have a loss here and there that happens. That's going to happen to the best of them. But when it's studio after studio, game after game, just kind of seeing that trend going down, they really got to take a hard step back and figure out what makes them money. What is their identity? And that's where they lost it. They lost their identity. We all said this. Tim said it. You said it, Perry, Frank. You've been saying it. That's why this show, I think, hit the hardest, because it felt like they were getting back to that identity.
Yes.
Where people were excited about the big games again. Halo, even though that's a remake of the original, has people fucking excited. Like, I know.
Oh, yeah. That Unreal 5
already
looks insane.
People are buying that. If that wasn't cool looking, people would have said, it's the original Halo, whatever. But no, it looks insane. They got added stuff to it. It's going to be awesome, and it's going to be a great tide me over game at the end of the summer here to get us through to the next batch again. And, of course, Gears is self-explanatory. Gears of War is absolutely nuts. You don't even need to know that it's Gears to go, man, that game looks crazy, and that game looks like it would sell a console. I'd buy a PlayStation. If I never had a PlayStation and I saw that game was on PlayStation, I'd be like, man, I need to have that. That looks freaking amazing.
Right.
No,
we all did that. I mean, that was the whole point of buying consoles and exclusivity. Like, PlayStation 2, I had a PS2, whatever. I got rid of it at one point. Then when Twisted Metal Black was coming out, I was like, I gotta go get another PS2, and I did. And Twisted Metal Black, one of the greatest fucking games ever made on PlayStation 2. So I mean, there you go. I mean, that's what you do. And obviously, I bought the system to play that game, but I kept the machine to play other games. So, I mean, that's what it's all about. Just like Xbox 360, like you want to play Halo 3 on there, and you keep it for all the other great games that came out, and that was a hell of a generation, man.
100%. Yeah, back then it was easier to take risks because games didn't, you could put a game out in 1 or 2 years, and if the game didn't do so well, you had another one kind of ready to go 3 years later, and you weren't costing the studio $250 million.
Yeah,
so,
and the student, even third parties. I mean, you were getting games from companies. You were like, who the hell is this company? Like, this company, how do they have money to make a game? And the game would be pretty decent, and then there would be sequels of that game, or you know what I mean? It's just I don't know, man. We had it so good.
The only thing they were guilty of in that generation was they almost started to oversaturate. And what I mean by that is, when a game got successful, everybody decided to make like knockoffs of that game.
Oh yeah, I know.
Like a lot, like remember how Guitar Hero was like huge and Rock Band was huge, and then they all of a sudden they started making so many of
Konami
them
made their own game too.
We stopped caring. Like after a while, you're just like, like don't make them all. It's like Assassin's Creed. Assassin's Creed's amazing when you give us time to salivate for the next one. But if you're going to bring one out on top of the other, and it's basically a copy and paste with a new protagonist, that shit's not going to fly either. It's a fine balance to play in the games industry, so you got to be very careful with that.
I will tell you though, the only clone that surpassed the original, people will say, well, GTA 3 over Driver. Well, I'm going to say this. The Godfather game over Vice City. Because the Godfather game ripped off GTA, but they did it way better.
Scarface was good too.
That was a good game, yes. And it was a what-if scenario. So you kind of had to buy that game to see what the hell would happen. That's if Scarface survives at the end of the film and you play the sequel, the what-if sequel. And that was definitely a selling point. So, I wish games would do that again, but they kind of don't want to do that. I don't know why. Anyway,
the industry's changed a lot, man. Like some for the better, some for the worst. I mean, we never had it so good for the amount of releases, but at the same time, we can because stuff just takes so long and it's so expensive. And that's another reason why a lot of games don't see as big a success because they're competing with so much now. You got to make these games extraordinary because if you don't stand out, unless you're a proven property. And you're making a game that has to stand out, and you get the odd exception. And I say they're odd because you have a game like Expedition 33, which seemed I don't know where the sales are in that game, but
the Corleones did your PlayStation.
Critical standpoint. I mean, the game got lots of critical success, and sometimes you need that too. You got to have people that like hype up your game and talk about it because guaranteed they sold and had people playing it last year just because there was so much hype around it. Whether people actually played and finished the game. That's another question. But at least people got playing it because of the hype. So, if you're going to make all these games too, and they're all going to come out and they're going to score 6 and they're going to score 7 and they're going to feel mediocre, well, they're going to end up being truly mediocre. Sometimes they can even be great, but people are going to convince you that they're mediocre because, well, that's what they do, right? It's like, well, that game, yeah, right? So,
Yeah, no.
Just a bad hype. Remember all the crap about Harry Potter game? Hogwarts Legacy turned out to be a pretty fantastic game, but it was a lot of people trying to convince you that it was garbage because again they had an agenda and they wanted to see it fail, and a lot of it had nothing to do with the game itself, and it's all that kind of bullshit too, right?
You know what was weird about that though? I'm gonna be honest with you, Noof. All right, about Hogwarts Legacy. All I saw was 55-year-old men praising a children's game. Why is that a thing?
No, it was half decent.
Well, you got to remember the books came out like 30
all
years
these
ago.
Xbox guys, they're all in their 50s and Harry Potter, and I'm like, that's a kid's game.
Well, they were kids
So
when
if
it came
Twilight,
out, probably.
if Twilight comes out, are all these 55-year-old men gonna go, holy shit, Twilight?
Yes. Twilight the game.
I probably played about 15 hours of it, maybe, if that. Like, I never finished it. What did I play it on? What did I buy it for? I think I bought it on the PlayStation originally. Yeah, and I played a bit of it, and I was enjoying for it. But I'm not the biggest Harry Potter fan in the world.
Right.
But I kind of got it because it looked pretty cool. It looked like, good graphics, and it looked kind of like a good bit of fun. And for the most part, I'd say it accomplished what it needed to do. But I wasn't one of those guys. Oh my god, this game's incredible. I was like, yeah, it's solid, and I could get with it. But that's where it ended for me. And then I think I traded or sold my copy, or whatever the fuck I did with it.
Oh, RWK says that tags aren't working in the chat. I don't know what that's all about. I just tagged him in the chat now. It seems to be working. Are you RWK? And you on your computer or your phone?
It never works on the phone. But it works on the computer.
I'm
It's
just
working fine for
I'm
me.
just making sure because nothing is. We don't have any of these set. The settings we have on the other channel aren't on here. Like everything is good. So I mean, but you got to let me know. Thank you for letting me know if there's an issue. So I'm trying to figure that out for next time. Never watched movies or anything. Says mental. Same here. I have not. I mean, I was an adult when the book came out, so why the hell would I read it? And I was an adult when the movies came out. Why would I go see it in the theater?
I was just a lad when the books came out.
Well,
so
you
I-
were a
I
kid,
read
so you have an excuse. But I
Yeah.
don't. I never watched that. It's like your X-Men, Frank. They were the gimpy X-Men. Like I was the 92 X-Men.
Oh,
You
there
were
was
like
some
the
good X-Men.
1999 X-Men or whatever.
Yeah.
2002 X-Men.
Even when I was in high school, they had some good X-Men on. 2005.
Yeah, you say that, but they're not. Mine
I
were
mean,
the
nothing
best.
beats
Sorry.
the old ones, but still.
My good brother Mag, I think he's a huge Harry Potter fan.
Harry Plopper.
Man, he just looks like Harry Twatter.
Oh man. Oh man. Well, you're lucky this channel's not monetized.
Erecto Patronum.
Now he's gonna say whatever he wants.
Agree.
Let's see. Any questions before we run? We'll give you guys like 5 minutes, and then we'll run. 92 X-Men bomb. Oh yeah, it was. I know. I grew up with the X-Men from 92. I mean, come on. I'm from Westchester County. That's the home of the X-Men. A lot of people don't know that.
We would just be sitting in our house and the Sentinels would blast through the walls. It was horrible.
Well, the mansion from the 92 cartoon was modeled after the oh god, is it the Osborne Rehabilitation Center? It's in White Plains.
White Plains, yeah.
It looks exactly like the mansion.
Yeah.
So that's where they got that from. Like to a T, it is that mansion from the cartoon. Oh man. I remember playing Lord of the Rings, says Ranger.
Yeah, those are good games too.
The kid, what was it? The Two Towers on GameCube was really good.
Yeah, there were like 3 or 4 of them.
Yeah, the games are good. Yeah.
X-Men 97 is coming back, I think, this month or next month. So get ready for that. That is a continuation from about, what was it, 3 years ago? 2 years ago?
Yeah, 2 years ago.
Something like that. What's that series on the streaming service? X-Men. Yeah, X-Men 97.
It's on Disney Plus.
The 90s were the best. Yes. I agree.
Superheroes. I watched the first episode of that Spider Noir the other night with Nicolas Cage. Oh god.
Is that real? I thought somebody made that shit up on. I
No,
thought that was like AI
it's on,
shit.
it's on Amazon, dude. It's a real fucking show. I watched the first episode and I was like, yeah, I won't be bothered with
God
this.
help us that's a real show.
It's a real fucking show with Nicolas fucking Cage of all people.
Well, he hasn't been doing anything anyway, so what's he gonna do?
Yeah, he's too busy owing the feds money on his fucking islands, and he wants to be buried in a tomb for real. I'm not even kidding.
Like, what is he filming movies for, like, minimum wage? That's how they all hire him. It's like, I'll take the bare minimum if you put me in this movie.
Well, he's
Just
got
to
to
be
he's got to
relevant
pay the
again.
government somehow.
He wanted that Disney check again, so he was like, I'll do whatever it takes.
Oh man. Any questions? 5 more minutes for real. Like we gotta go. Noof wasn't even gonna come on, but he came on to be nice, so I don't want to waste his time here. The
Hey,
Spider
that's
Sweet,
my
nice
time,
man.
Spider
Well,
Noir has insane
it's a good night
reviews.
to come on.
Seamus Kelly, I'm gonna make you a mod because you're Noof's friend.
He says Spider has insane review. Well, reviews, all I know is I wasn't digging it. Maybe it's great for somebody else. I don't know. Go watch it yourself and see what you think. Maybe you like it, maybe you don't. That's the whole beauty of it, right? I just know I wasn't digging it. Then that's all I can say. And probably maybe it's me, and I just have a hard time getting around Nicolas Cage for any fucking thing. You know,
Mental, if you want to
I'm saying
watch
he
it,
has never had a few bad. No.
shout out to Mental 9R, Noof's former host or co-host. This host, Jesus Christ, his former co-host.
Ghost, yes, sir.
Check it out, Mental.
Getting over surgery right now.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he had surgery about a month ago, right? So
Yeah.
hurry up and recover, buddy. We got to get you back on.
You gotta
Well,
bang on Noof's windows at 3 a.m, so get better.
That's how he broke his tibia. He fell off the ladder banging on Noof's windows.
You put the ladder to get up to Noof's bedroom.
I was pissed off and I threw a Series X out the window. It hit him on the way down.
Or the Hunchback was outside Noof's house and he buttered the ladder. Okay, the Disney Hunchback movie, okay, the cartoon.
Yeah.
When I was a kid in the theater, I'm sitting there watching this guy just slide on the banisters and everything, and I'm like, how this guy? What if someone butters the railings? He's dead. Like he's gonna fly right off.
Dude, he was sliding across the roofs. His feet would be like tore up. He's like crunching
He had
the
shoes
shingles
on,
off of the
though.
roofs. Yeah, but still, like they're crappy little shoes.
He's
Not
like
gonna save his
sliding
feet
and
from
doing
this.
Spider-Man shit, and I'm like, how is this guy doing this?
You see what Seamus wrote in the chat?
Oh yeah, well after
no.
last night, I think Bert and Ernie, that Arnold kicks their door down every time he thinks they're having sex.
Oh my god, that was too funny.
Get the hell out of my bed. Now, do it.
Oh, that was funny. That was really funny last night with that. They're pumping iron and Arnold breaks the door down. Whereas, you know what, Noof? My buddy does stop motion and he does animation. And he used to have me do voices for his channel.
Yeah.
I got to get him to get you to do a voice for one of those things. That would be freaking
Nice.
funny.
Being a cartoon.
He used to give what's that song? Hey, Mr. Wonderful. Oh, you're so incredible. That was Arnold Schwarzenegger's theme song that he gave him. He would do the stop motion with the Terminator 2 toy, and that would be his entrance. Oh, man. Nick Cage, he doesn't want to be in the MCU. Yeah, well, fuck James Gunn, too. I said it. It was 3 a.m. I was freaking tired, says Mental. Venom Dave, what's going on? Shout out to everybody in the chat here. You got Seamus Kelly, you got Ranger Black, you got Venom Dave, you got Mental 9R, you got RWK88, you got Scott Payne, you got Dizzy Delta, you got D, you got Back from the Dead, who we hung out with last week.
HGK?
Ooh.
HGK was earlier.
Oh, yeah.
HBK.
HBK, the Heartbreak Kid show.
Oh my god, he was
hockey fan.
Hockey fan.
I'm really rooting for Xbox. Sounds like Kermit.
Scott,
HBK.
Scott PA yeah. Cougar Man. Great people, man. Great people in the chat. You guys are awesome. Don't worry, we know you're there.
Weston was here. All these guys are here. Wicked Hot was in here. Dreeben was in here. El Nini, hockey
It was a
fan.
packed show. Really.
Yeah, we had a lot of people in here, which is good. I mean, look, there was a lot of interesting news. Venge was here today. Shout out to Venge. I mean, look, there was a lot of news. Anthony was in here. There was a lot of news, and we had to get through it because, again, like I had questions like, are they selling this thing? Is the thing really burning down? Like, what is going on here? And Tim is there to answer and say, listen, we just got to stick with it. It'll be all right. So that's fine. That's what we're going to do. I mean, we have no choice. We have to see where Xbox goes. But it's always an interesting thing with Microsoft because this happens almost every single day, every week. It's always up and down, inside out. And
yeah, at least give it like a couple of weeks after you have some good news, and then instead of like 2 or 3 days later, like, ah!
Yeah. So, I mean, listen, they have a lot of great games coming out this year. You're looking at one right now called Gears E-Day. There will be a $100 edition from what I'm hearing. That's going to be, you could play the game 5 days early.
Mm.
So I don't know who's going to bite on that. I don't know if I'm going to bite on it. I don't even know yet. But that's pretty much it with that. So you got Halo next month. That's going to be crazy. We're going to do a tournament at the shop. It's going to be me, Frank, Jeff, and possibly Anthony. If not, we'll find somebody else to jump in there. And we're inviting anybody who's local that wants to show up and play the game. Come on down. So,
Noof, start walking now. Start riding out your bike now. You'll be here in time.
yes. He could jump on a plane like Calypso and Twisted Metal 2.
Driving it take me about 5 days to get to you guys.
Oh, there you go.
Well, then
You should
walk.
do it.
It'll be quicker.
Walking will be 10 days.
I'll meet you by the time Xbox has the next showcase.
Okay.
I get there and all of a sudden I'm like 120 pounds, all dehydrated.
Oh
Who the fuck
man,
is
we
this
don't want
skinny
that.
weird guy from Canada. Is that Mark Kearney? Ooh.
If you're just like, I just kept running and running. He's like Forrest Gump.
Imagine Noof walks in all dehydrated and skinny, and Arnold's at the shop, and he turns around and goes, "Who is this skinny loser?"
Yes, another guy coming in the door. He looks like a pencil. Get rid of him. Put him out on his ass.
Oh man, I haven't had Xbox since 360, so Xbox 25 is a good draw to get me into getting one after years. Good. That's the whole point, right? That's what they want.
What they want.
I got to get the Gears E-Day Collector's Edition. Buy the game, people. Fuck Game Pass, says Chapo. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If there's one game you're gonna buy at least from Xbox, put it on this one and just send a message.
Let me tell you something. Like Noof just said, send a message. They put themselves on the limb with this one, so I think it's only fair that we contribute. Even if you don't buy the day one edition for $100, buy the regular edition. Show this company that this is what we're willing to do as Xbox fans. Buy their stuff. Be a fan of their product. You know what I mean?
I hope you buy it because you want it. That's the best thing is if you actually want it and buy it.
Right.
But, you know.
Well, here's the thing. It's like also, I get people, they can't afford stuff and they use Game Pass and all that. That's fine. But at the end of the day, if you can afford it, they're sending you a message. You need to send that message right back at them so that they know, okay, we got it with Gears. Next game. And so on and so forth. So you got to show the company. Now, if nobody runs out and buys this thing, they'll put it on PlayStation in a year because they'll be like, well, we got to make some sort of money back. Maybe they will. Maybe they won't. I don't know. We don't even know anymore what the hell is going to happen with this company. So I'm just saying, they're asking for your support. They made a hell of a game, it looks like. Let's just go out and support them and see what happens. Hopefully everything works out. Because listen, at the end of the day, you need Xbox around because you need somebody to keep Sony in check. And I don't want to hear this, well, Nintendo's competing with... No, they're not. Nintendo's doing its own thing in the corner over there. All right? That's the way it's always been since the fucking Wii. Okay? Some people will say GameCube, but whatever. They've been doing that for a long time. Let them stay in the corner and make good stuff. Okay? The real battle's between Sony and Microsoft. So let them duke it out, because when they duke it out, guess what? We win because we get the better prices, we get the better games, we get the better services. Now, if Xbox goes away, guess what? You're getting a $900 PlayStation. You're getting a $1,200 PlayStation. You might get a $3,000 PlayStation because Sony, they have no one to go up against. They can do whatever they want. They can run roughshod on the customer. And we're all customers at the end of the day. Just remember that, everybody. All right. You guys going to close it out or what? Frank?
Yeah. Definitely. If you're not going to buy anything else, at least buy the exclusives. Show them that that's what we want. That's what we've been yelling and screaming about for like 2 years. So do it. And let's see what happens. I mean, there's a bunch of crazy cuts coming. So let's see what we're left with in another couple of weeks and reassess the situation.
Shout out to Xbox Timdog on Twitter. That's Timdog's Twitter account. He does a space. He tries to do a space every day. So check that out. Noof, you want to talk about your show on Sundays?
Yeah, sure. Real quick, guys. You probably know by now. I just do the one podcast on a regular basis on Sundays at 10 a.m. Eastern, which is 8 Mountain Time. Yeah, it's called Crazy About Gaming. If you've never seen it before, so I think most of you in the chat have definitely come out to watch the show. It's a fun little show. I generally try to keep it to an hour and a half, and sometimes you have a few different guests week in, week out. So, been trying to get some people for this weekend, but so far I don't think I've been able to line up anyone, which is okay. I'm quite fine with just running the show myself, which is typically how it's meant to be anyway. So, we'll go with that. But hopefully we'll see you there, and hopefully we'll have some games. Yeah, I got to pick out the schedule for this weekend's games for the community game night. Let me just see here. Yeah, we got one more community game night on Xbox, which will be this weekend on the 21st. And on the 28th of the month, it'll be a Nintendo Switch and MetaQuest VR community game night. So last of the month will always be a different, we'll change it up a little bit so people can play something else other than just like on the Xbox ecosystem. So,
yeah, I better see Peter in that VR game.
Oh man, he's funny to play with.
Well, we gotta get us all together and play the Turtles. Remember, it was a 4-player co-op. We should be playing the Turtles, kicking some ass.
Ninja Turtles on what? The VR?
Yeah, the MetaQuest. I played it already. It's fantastic.
How much is it?
I think it's like I paid $25 Canadian, so I think it's like $20 American.
All right, good. So when you send me the money, I'll pick it up.
It's $24.99.
I didn't even know Turtles was on there. That sounds awesome.
Me and Noof told you about it.
We talked about it, and then it kind of shouted out, and I forgot about it. It's like, oh, it's on there, and I said, shit, I better go buy it. And
you guys told me about it, and then all this Xbox shit happened.
Yeah, it was a long time ago. So to be fair.
Okay, so that's good. So Frank, where the hell are they not going to find you?
Game Complainers every Wednesday between 9:30 and 10 p.m. with you and Anthony and Fred.
And we do this show every Monday that Tim is able to do it. We kind of don't want to do it without Timdog because, you know, he's the reason why we started this show, because he's like, I want to do a show. And I was like, all right, well, I want to do your show. And I was like, all right, well, we'll make a new channel this way. You know, we could get newer people in here. It'll reach a more of a better audience as far as Xbox. So, and I think we've achieved that. So that's why the channel only has like 100 subs, but that's fine. I mean, it is what it is. This is, I like this show a lot. So this show will go on every Monday that we're able to get it going on. So, and you know what? Sometimes there'll be big Xbox news, but it might not be like today. Today would have warranted an Xbox Goes to Hell, but we would have been completely wrong about what we were talking about because Tim has the insight to say, guys, it's good. Don't worry. Like, you know, this is messed up, but don't worry. It's all going to work out. Whereas on Xbox Goes to Hell, we would have been like, oh my God, what are they doing? So, all right, we're out of here. Everyone take care. Stay safe.
Have a great night.
Have a good night. And we'll see you later.